Oh yeah, party people. Round two. Been a crazy day, man. But hey, the work gonna get done. You best believe that. Y'all
Yeah,
see who I got with me riding shotgun. The first 5-star athlete in the state of Georgia. I'm always gonna hold true to that. My dude, Quincy Carter. What's up, homeboy?
what's good, Maceo? What's good?
Man, I can't call it, brother. Hey man, I want to start with this. I want to go on and get this out the way because I've been getting beat up about my top five quarterback list that I had to turn in. So I'm gonna let you critique my top five list, man. And I want to get your thoughts on my top five as we get ready for the NFL draft. Everybody, of course, everybody got the consensus number one, man. Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I just think you can go read 5 million publications. All of them gonna have Trevor Lawrence number one.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on Trevor Lawrence, brother?
Man, you know something? He grew on me. I'm gonna tell you the game. He came in with a lot of hype. I see his skills, but the game he really grew up on me. It wasn't even this year. It was last year against Ohio State when the dude almost knocked him into oblivion, and then he got up about 2 or 3 plays later and took off on a 65, 70-yard run.
Yeah.
I said, whoa, wait a minute. And so I watched him this year. He progressed. He got off to a slow start at sophomore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I watched him this year, and I think he's progressing. I just, and I like him. I wouldn't actually draft him over Justin Fields. There's something about Justin Fields. It's something about, what he went through in Georgia, how he left. That's motivational, man. I know when I left, I didn't leave on the greatest of terms at Georgia, and I always had that chip on my shoulder. So, that's what I feel with Justin. But Trevor's gonna have a good career, I think.
So at number two, I do have Justin Fields. Oh man, it was just so much. When you look at Justin, because like say the Georgia fiasco, I thought he landed perfectly at Ohio State. He went to a school that ran a system that was perfect for his skill set. And before we talk, Justin, because you work with quarterback and you see this thing develop, talk to me how important it is for a quarterback to pick the right system for his skill set.
It's very important, man. And that's why, I emphasize so much on dropping back, when I'm working my quarterbacks out, 3-step, 5-step play action, because a lot of these guys who think they want to run the spread don't really understand everything it is entailed about it. He was one of those guys that grew up in that system. I don't think, and I don't really know this for a fact, but I don't think he ever really developed, as a 3-stepper, 5-stepper quarterback.
Right, because he was always in the shotgun.
Yeah, and he stayed in that shotgun. So I think it's real important. I wouldn't say it's more important than picking your major. I can't go there, but it's got to be second on the list of what kind of system you go in. You can have everybody recruit you, but you better be going in the right system, because that skill set that you have that displays at its best, you want that to display at its best to the NFL scouts.
So when we do talk about, because again, a lot of people, you hear when guys start training for the combine and get ready for draft, they have to relearn how to play under center. Talk about how important it is to take the snap, physically slap your hand under that center butt and take the snap versus always catching in the gun.
Well, I mean, you're practically looking at the defense in the shotgun while you're in the shotgun. But when you're up under that center, that first drop, your back turns to the defense. All right, first of all. So it's that art of dropping that chin down on that shoulder and even seeing that blitz to your left. And if you haven't been doing that, when we was beating up on Doug when I
was there you go. There you go. I knew it wasn't gonna be long.
but But you know, Coach Godfrey had me up under that center ground. And then when I got the blessings of having Steve Davenport, shoot, I took off, man. And so I didn't have to waste a lot of time, Maceo, in the draft process, learning how to drop back
Right.
after, you know, beating Douglas High School on Friday nights, Maceo.
That's why I'm gonna get them pull this footage out before long. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Okay, but yeah. So talk about Justin Fields. What I can't get over you tripping. What do you see in Justin Fields' game as he get ready to prepare for the NFL?
Well, all the boxes check out when you talk about his physical ability. But the one thing I'm still enamored by is the fact that one, when he left Georgia, none of his teammates said a bad word about him.
Right.
Then he actually came back on campus after all that. And the coaching staff let him on campus.
Right.
Then he goes to Ohio State and is a captain, and everybody believes in him. So his leadership really stands out to me, Maceo. And then, you know, of course, his that right arm he has is special. And I just like the way I like the way he maneuvers with his feet too. It's almost like he's a more polished passer to me than Steve McNair with that running ability also.
I like that. I like that right there. So at number 3, and listen, Falcon fan, I know y'all mad at me, Falcon fans, because I had the Falcons taking this guy because Justin Fields going to the New York Jets. Everybody, according to my first mock draft. At number 3, I got Zach Wilson out of BYU, and this is a kid. Up until I got the film, I only saw him play twice. I definitely watched the Coastal Carolina game because it was just like, okay, this gonna be a very interesting game. But I didn't realize he could throw this ball like this. He got a gun, dog.
Yeah, you know something was crazy. He jumped off the screen for me. It was the first game of the year. Who was against Navy? I think.
Navy, yeah.
And I know Navy only had maybe a week to prepare or whatever, but his arm and his ability just jumped off the screen for me. So it's gonna be real interesting where he lands. You know, we're talking about a guy too who's played in a pro style system too.
Right.
He knows both getting up under the center and being in the shotgun. So I think he's got great upside though, Maceo.
So at number 4, so I've seen this guy. He's training here in Atlanta. So I've seen him a few times. Big body kid. I think they're gonna question his level of competition. You know how they do. Trey Lance from North Dakota State.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I hadn't seen much of him, but highlights. I haven't watched the full game.
Right.
I will admit that. But I do see his skill set. You know, one of the things that you just alluded to is the competition and how he'll be able to make that adjustment. We just seen what's my man in Philadelphia? I'm drawing a blank.
Carson Wentz. It's funny you say that because I talked about that earlier. I'm like, what the stuff Carson Wentz is going through right now is going to kind of affect Trey Lance, because I think now you have a lot of people starting to say, well, maybe because of the level of competition that Carson played in college kind of has a effect on what he's doing in the NFL. And it's crazy because, I mean, up until he got hurt a couple of years ago, he was on a MVP pace. But then, you know, it seemed like he lost his confidence and you know, all this crazy stuff there. So I do think part of that, I like that analogy right there. I think that's going to affect Trey Lance in this draft somewhat.
Yeah, it might. You know, one thing about NFL, Maceo, me and you know, once you get about 14 to 16 games on tape now, it will be dissected to the 5th, 7th, 8th degree. And so they'll know, you know, how well you throw to your left, how well you throw to your right, which way you like to escape the pocket. You know what I mean? They'll break you down so much if the protection slide left, you know, will you just escape right and not even be looking to your left as far as your progression? So just the little things, man, they break down. So, you know, we'll see though, but I see the potential. I really do.
Yeah.
But like I said, I haven't watched the full game to see how he react with his teammates, see how he react with the coaching staff on the sideline and things of that nature. But I see the talent though.
And at number 5, really, you could put either one. I mean, you can just close your eyes and pick either one of these guys. I got Kyle Trask at 5,
Mm-hmm.
but I think him and Mac Jones, I think they really kind of the same guy. So talk about both of these guys.
Man, you know something? Trask was really high on my list. Like not even this year. Last year he was. Matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact, I thought he was a senior last year.
Right,
Yeah, and so I like his frame. He's not gonna give you much out the from his legs.
right,
He played in some big time. He played in some big time games in the SEC, man, and performed well. And Matt Jones, man, I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. He was the shocker of this college football season for me. I didn't see that coming, and I didn't see his ability to, from week to week, you know, practically get better. And I
right.
know he played with the best in the country, but at the same time, you got to go do it, on that biggest stage. And week in and week out, man, the way he maneuvered in the pocket, the way he took on, and the key is too, Maceo. And I was going back and forth on Facebook talking about how well of a game plan Sarkisian put together. But you got to have that mind set, and you got to have the ability to execute that game plan, which was,
Right.
I mean, formationally, some of those formations and motions and everything they were running, you know what I mean? You got to be able to have that ability to go execute that, to snap the ball at the right place when that guy's in motion. When D. Smith was going out, like that one play when he acted like he was going in motion here,
And then,
like a
then whip
zag
back
motion.
around. Right.
Yeah, went back out, but you got to have the timing right to snap that ball right so the defense don't adjust. And on a week to week basis, man, he was able to show me that.
This was crazy, cute. I want you to kind of get into this. You kind of you entertain a lot on social media, but I know a lot of times when you really start like getting into the intricate part of the game, that's when kind of the barbershop folk kind of fall off the post because it's like you start deep dive, you start deep diving on people. But I want you to talk about this, the importance of like the adjustment a lot of these guys are gonna have to make because in college, a lot of times, a lot of guys look to the sideline, the adjustments being made from upstairs, relayed down to the sideline, and then they get to play and now they're gone. Not gonna get that time in NFL. Talk about that adjustment. What you see with these young signal callers coming into the game now.
Yeah, all due respect, and I really mean this from the bottom of my heart because I don't want to disrespect any college coaches, man. Some of college coaches are actually playing the game for their quarterback.
Right.
And, they're not allowing these guys to go up to the go up to the snap and go up to the line of scrimmage and make those adjustments that they really have to make to put their team in the right play. And so what you're seeing is a lot of guys you just alluded to are not being able to get in the huddle and call a play. That's an adjustment. The protection on that particular play, that's an adjustment. Whether or not that protection is the right protection call for that defense, that's a whole nuance. Whether it's a pass run option, and now you have the ability to put your team in the right play, pass run option wise, that's an adjustment. And so when you don't allow your quarterbacks to actually feel that part of the game, then that is a reteaching tool, no matter what kind of ability you have.
Right.
That's a reteaching tool when you get into the NFL. And ironically, some of our Ohio State quarterbacks, running that system has had a lot of problems coming into the NFL, and they haven't really adjusted well, and you only can go back to what they were asked to do in college and how they were programmed upstairs, to run that type of offense. And now it's a whole different type of ball game. So it's only facts, like I said, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but just being a quarterback, knowing the game, I'm allowed,
Right, no doubt, no
that
doubt.
expertise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so because I always laugh when guys I've coached who gotten a chance to get in the NFL camp or stay in a camp.
Yeah.
The first thing they talk about is when they get that playbook,
Uh-huh.
and for a quarterback who have to regurgitate all of that stuff.
Yeah.
The first time you got that playbook and you looked at the play calls, what was kind of going through your mind?
You know something, Maceo, and no joking, and that's why I talk about it so much, Maceo. In high school, I ran a number system, a protection system where I had to know where guys were at.
Right.
In college, I ran that same system. There were words to certain routes, there were numbers to certain routes. So coming into, to the NFL, man, I was pretty polished on getting in the huddle, calling
Right.
protection, calling a play, going on different snap counts, which I didn't mention in that last question you asked me. And so I was so prepared, on a standpoint of a playbook standpoint, that it didn't overwhelm me. Now I will say this: there's about 150 extra plays than it was. I will say that, but the verbiage, Maceo, I never really, honestly, I can say I struggled with, because even after I ran the Don Carriol offense my first year with Coach Riley, he was my first offensive coordinator. Then I was able to run the West Coast offense with Coach Cosley, who came from from Bill Walsh's system,
Right.
up in
Right.
Cincinnati with Boomer. And so then when I went to the Jets, we ran the West Coast offense with Chad Pennington. I was able to adjust pretty well. So,
Right.
man, I got spoiled in that sense from my youth. I really did, Maceo. And so I was prepared, man. As I went along to the NFL.
Let's talk about high school quarterbacks and them getting prepared for the next level. What is one of the biggest things you're with these kids? You're training them now. What are some of the biggest things that you have to tell parents and the athlete when you're doing these one-on-one sessions?
Yeah. Well, besides their fundamentals, which is first and foremost, and I preach a lot on having your feet right and being in position to throw, because you can go through those ladders, you can skip over those hurdles, make it look good, the whole nine. But if I got a receiver going right to left, and the way my ball spins backwards as a right-hander, and if I don't have them hips 2 yards in front of that receiver, then that ball is going behind him. But besides that, in the X's and O's, man, I preach hard on how much of a business it is to be a college quarterback.
Oh yeah.
And in all the high school rah-rah, it's great. But shoot, there was a business for me in 98 when I stepped on the University of Georgia campus, man. And what that quarterback means to that whole school, to that whole city, is life and death for a lot of people. Dude. So, as far as being a leader off the field, you better be having your heads up and looking where you're at. You're going to have your fun in college. But, man, you got to lead, 100-plus men. You got families and coaches, depending on how well you play at that quarterback position. Because Maceo, especially with going to these colleges now, that coach that don't get the quarterback right, in his 3-year tenure that they giving these dudes, he's gone.
Out the door.
Yeah,
out the door.
That coach knows that too. And if you ain't, in the top 10 schools out the country, and you don't have that time to waste, these coaches are playing quarterback carousel because their job's on the line. They got to get that position right.
I like how you because I've always said, and I tell everybody this, I look at the quarterback position, especially at college, it's almost like a presidential administration.
It is.
when you the guy, you just gonna be there 2, 3, 4 years. you like the president. So
Yeah.
a lot of what's gonna go on really comes down to your plate.
Yeah.
Our buddy Bobby Oliver, oh God, I hate to give him this kind of credit while we live, but when Joe Burrow transferred to LSU, every day he told us, "Hey, this dude, he this, he that, he that."
He told him.
So me and David Lockhart, we were like, "Man, get out of here, man!
Yeah.
Get out of here!" He always hurt. He can't, but hey, he played. I mean, his first year, it was okay.
Yeah.
But you can start seeing like toward the end of the year, you were like, okay, maybe.
Mhm.
And then when he came back his senior year, well, junior year, whatever the year that was, and now you have Joe Brady, you got all these weapons, and then it just all clicked. And he went from prior to the season, he was like a fourth, fifth round guy.
Mhm.
And he made himself into the number one overall pick.
Mhm.
The system and the timing.
Yeah.
Talk about that part of it, Q.
Man, you know, honestly, Maceo, I said this and I can't make this up. I said this to one of my quarterbacks yesterday who I was training, and we were talking about Phillip Rivers. And he was like, "Oh man, Phillip Rivers, he had a silver spoon in his mouth." I said, "Listen, anytime, because you know, you hear all the stories from all these kids. They reading all these backstories on the internet. And,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
That's right.
I don't follow them. I don't follow them at all. Because boy, let me tell you, sometimes I get on the internet, I be like, "This isn't right." But anyway, so I was telling him, I said, anybody who's played over 10 years in the NFL, you can tell by the way you can tell by their play that they study. They know where everybody's at on that football field. They know all the hot reads. They have a complete control and command of that offense. And that's all you've seen with Burrow from week to week.
Yeah.
He had a complete control of that offense. And I was watching whether it was him or not making different calls at the line of scrimmage. And it was a spread type, offense. But he was making a lot of calls predicated on that defense.
He was.
And man,
He
it
was.
hurt me to my heart when I said it, when I wrote it on Facebook, but I meant it though. That was the best, and I'm talking about my best as far as what I thought was my best, the best college year for a quarterback was Charlie Ward back in '93.
Mm-hmm.
That season they won the national
Yeah,
championship.
with the fast break.
Yes, sir. But that college football quarterback season that he just had, that was the best in college football that I didn't witness, man, from start to finish. That was special, man. People don't understand. I don't care who he played with. Jerry Rice, John Taylor, it don't matter. That was special.
I always think about. I remember covering the Peach Bowl when they played Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
And you're just sitting there like, dude, he can't be this on.
And you seen him from the sideline.
And you like, he can't be this on. And it got to a point. We saw it kind of like the Georgia game in the SEC championship.
Uh-huh.
But in that Oklahoma game, it's like no matter what Oklahoma did, he had the cheat code.
Uh-huh.
And I forgot, I can't remember who guy I was sitting next to. And we laughed at like he came to the line. He kind of like looked. He kind of pointed to Jamar Chase. He kind of was like go in there. And it's sitting there like, now he ain't reading a mail like that. Now before the snap, I was like, wow.
And look, they can lick the envelope if they want to. He was opening that mail right there at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, that was special, Maceo. Yeah, that was special, bud.
Now, one of the things that you and I, we part of our 6 a.m. conversations, we talk about the quarterback carousel. We didn't get deep into it, but we knew it was kind of coming.
Mm-hmm.
Your Georgia quarterback brethren, Matthew Stafford, they think he is the answer for the LA Rams. They move on from Jared Goff. Your thoughts when you saw that happen?
Michelle, let me tell you. You know I've been holding back from this conversation on
I know.
Facebook.
I know you have. I know you have.
It's because Stafford is a Georgia alum, so I'm a respect and salute that. But and let me tell you, yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever it was, I had to go back and actually quietly in my little space, and I had to go back and check on this Joe Montana trade when it happened. Yeah, when it went down with Kansas City.
Right.
And that's what I kind of compare it to. But the thing is, Stafford don't have the rings.
Right.
But this is what I think has happened. I don't understand the golf situation or why they don't like him that much. They gave up a king's ransom for Matthew Stafford. And I don't understand it, to be honest with you. 2 first rounders, what was a second and a third, or just a third? That's a lot, Maceo, for a 13-year vet. So we'll see how it works out. You know, the one thing that pops out to me, though, to be honest with you, Maceo, and let's get off this subject because I am a Georgia alumni. I know, but I got to put on my analyst hat. Matthew Stafford hasn't won a playoff game, and that's troubling for me. You know what I mean? In 13 years. So as a Georgia alumni, I'm just asking, make sure, can we move on from this?
We're going to move on. I'm just going to say this, and I don't need you to rebut or respond because we're going to move on. To me, just one man's humble opinion.
But see, why you got to be shaking your head like that?
Well, man, listen, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Matter of fact, this ain't got nothing to do. This is just my thoughts. Quincy Carter does not feel this way. He don't talk about this at 6 a.m. This is me. I personally believe for all of the talent that's in the right arm of Matthew Stafford, it's not going to be a Tom Brady situation where you just plug him in and they're going to go to the Super Bowl because it's the Rams still need some stuff. Like, they still don't have no big play. Who he throwing the ball too deep?
Good question.
Robert Woods, a Cooper Kupp, or intermediate route guy. They not the deep ball guy. You got Cam Akers, so you got the running game. When you come out there, as I like to call it, late action, I just come out there late action when he pop his head up. Who he throwing too deep? I don't know. But we moving on because I don't want you to rebut to none of that. We're going to talk about another guy, another Georgia boy who actually, I would say, we get the 5-star salute after you, even though you laid the foundation for that. Deshaun Watson. Now, it's just my personal opinion. You're out there in Texas, so you probably hear a little more than we do. But you don't trade 25-year-old franchise quarterbacks. The Houston Texans are looking at their phone like this, while everybody calling it like, I ain't answering that.
Maceo, and don't nobody hear us. You know who I'm upset with a little bit? I'm upset with ESPN who keep pubbing this. Like
they need stories. They need clickbait.
And going back to our last topic, as a matter of fact, that Matthew Stafford trade just made the Watson trade even worse.
Bro,
you got to give up 4 first rounds down for him.
I keep telling everybody.
I don't see it, Maceo. You know, I don't have a personal relationship with Deshaun. I just spoke at Gainesville too. Salute to my boy. You know, I'm a true Georgia boy, man, and I love Deshaun. But honestly, I think he's getting some bad advice.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
because first of all, Maceo, let's be honest. You know, we don't know everything about that contract. They don't put it all out.
Oh, nah.
But I do know at least 50 of those million are gonna come from the Houston Texans. Now you're gonna get this kid $50 million and then go trade him. And then not only that, Maceo, what kind of kid he is and what he's gonna mean to your franchise in the city of Houston. You don't get no kid up like that. You know, so I know I don't think it's really Deshaun talking because it's really not in his personality. He's
right.
Been out there like
no, not at all.
We watched his press conference when he got that money. Man, I felt that boy crying.
Boy, right.
From the heart.
Right.
We from the city now, Maceo. We know how you feel coming from Gainesville, man. You've
Bro.
been around there, man. Yeah, so
This what was crazy.
I don't think it's him, Maceo. I don't, man.
Q again. Houston looking around, they like, first of all, if we do decide to say, you know what, okay, let's entertain the trade. Like you just said, what they ask, I told everybody, I said, listen, they're gonna ask for 4 to 5 first round picks.
Yeah, easily.
They're gonna need the moons, they're gonna need the stars, and you gotta throw like 2 planets in. Like
exactly.
This is a 25-year-old franchise quarterback, man. This is a top 7 guy in the league.
Superstar.
Dude, this guy, and we've watched it from his time at Gainesville to what he did for Clemson. Now he transformed Clemson.
Yes, he did. Taj Boyd started it a little bit.
Yeah, with the dance for Taj Boyd, they kind of, but Deshaun
took it to the next level. The next level.
He made it legit.
Listen. Now Dabo might have had a couple cocktails now. he had a couple cocktails when he said this. But did you hear Dabo Swinney say
the Michael Jordan? Yeah. You know how I took that though? I'm gonna tell you how I took that, Q. I took that what he was saying. The personality and impact of Deshaun. He always got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
He's going. If you follow his Instagram, he just a upbeat, lively dude. And I'm gonna tell this funny Deshaun Watson story. 2 years ago at the Super Bowl, outside the NFL experience, he was in the pro shop. Just in there by himself, kind of looking around. This kid,
no entourage,
dude, no entourage. Dog, him, jean jacket on, chilling, looking at. He was grabbing souvenirs. This kid is standing there. He just looking. He like, I think that's Deshaun Watson. And then he kind of looked at me. He was like, is that Deshaun Watson? I said, why don't you go ask him? I said, dude, if you think that's Deshaun, go ask him. Dude, look, young fella, he had to be 9 or 10. He get up enough courage, go over there. Dude, him and Deshaun have about a 5 to 6 minute conversation. Just talking.
That don't surprise me, Maceo.
And then next thing you know, you see Deshaun telling him, like, man, pick out some stuff. Wow. Little buddy picking up stuff. Deshaun like, no, pick out some stuff. Man, they go to the register together. It's a gang of people. Only 3 people notice Deshaun Watson. That's the type dude he is, man.
Yeah, that don't surprise me, man.
And Houston not letting they get out of town.
No, at all.
And they're not letting
no question about it, man. But what I don't want to happen, honestly, I don't want this thing to linger on with him and the Houston management. Yeah. I'm literally, I haven't prayed, but I might start praying that don't, go down the way it's looking. Because at the end of the day, we just gave this how, if I'm Bob McNair, is still Bob McNair?
Yeah, it's still the McNair family.
I just gave you $50 million, son. You're going to have to fight through some of this rebirth with us too. You know what I mean? You are the quarterback of this franchise. You are the quarterback of this franchise. And you're going to have to go through some growing pains with us. But you are experienced enough to walk on this field and win 7 games like
by yourself.
With whatever team we put out there.
Right.
We put some pieces around you, spend some money, and now we got a 9, 10, 11 game, 11 win team. But right now, son, you're gonna have to fight this thing out with us, man. And that's only right, by the Houston Texans. To be honest with you, when you're the franchise quarterback, you're separate from any position in sport.
Right.
And you got to act accordingly. And I just think Deshaun's getting some bad advice.
And then it's crazy because we such prisoner of the moment. People forget just a year ago, they were up 24-0 in Kansas City.
Exactly. Yeah, buddy.
If Bill O'Brien just don't have a brain fart, and then they have a special team snafu. No, Deshaun he might be a Super Bowl champion right now.
A whole different story, man. A whole different story. Because the moment is never too big for Deshaun.
Oh,
Is
oh,
never
oh,
too big for the
oh
show.
no!
So yeah,
His swagger is just like
he,
he like that. Like when he
he
walking,
loves it. He loves it. He loves it. And he's walking in it, man. But I just think Maceo, man, I hope the team around him, man, start really thinking, really hard about this situation because it shouldn't be going down like this,
right?
and it shouldn't be going down in the media. And
Yeah,
whoever his agent is, I'm not sure what's going on there, but it shouldn't be going down like this after signing a contract just a
right.
year ago, though, Maceo.
Both sides. Stop being petty.
Yep.
Pick a location. It ain't even got to be in Houston.
Uh huh.
Y'all go to Iowa for all we care. Sit in the room, talk this out, and let's move on. Because the thing I don't want to happen is people start taking shots at Deshaun's character and
Mm-hmm.
start categorizing him as a diva, prima donna, all this type stuff.
Exactly.
Because he's not that.
Yeah.
He's a gamer, dog.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. He's a big baller.
But the fact that the NBA, I mean, the fact that the ESPN is so bored right now, they know good and well that trade can't really go down like this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All these scenarios they keep
Everybody
throwing out
able
there.
to get out on the road and go to these NBA games. So they just cover this mess right here, man. That's what I'm not liking right now. This thing go down like this.
Well, speaking of mess, we got to talk about our quarterback in the Big D. It don't seem to be no traction on this Dak contract.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the feeling that they're gonna franchise him one more time. I'm starting to get that. I'm starting to get that feeling, Q. You ain't fought nobody on Facebook in a minute about old Dak.
Nah,
you giving everybody a break.
I've been quiet.
Yeah. Let's talk about Dak.
And I've been worried too. You got faith, actually, Maceo, in the franchise tag. I don't see them giving him that tag is gonna be $40 million, Maceo.
It is.
I don't see that. I don't see them giving him 40. And then what I don't see them doing is putting that contract that on the table that they had back on the table last year. And I don't see that either. Now what's crazy is I got to thinking a lot just by one of my posts when I was talking about Tom Brady this week. Dallas can do some things to get his boy this money in bonuses, to not hit that cap hit.
Without doubt.
So their faith in him isn't as strong as they're putting on. So my thing is, Maceo, man, just let the kid go, man. He's 26 years old. You really, honestly, to me, I don't think they really like him how they really actually say it in the media. And I don't see them giving him the 40. I see them trying to lowball him right now because of the ankle injury. And I just don't see a good ending to this movie, Maceo. There's no scenario in my mind. I'm just going by what has happened over the last 2 years in negotiation. Right. Dak feels slighted as far as what they're offering them. Yeah. If they really wanted them like that, they'll just give them the 4 years. Then we're talking about another year. And then, Maceo, honestly, Dak really hasn't said anything publicly. So what really is the deal? That's what I'm back to. Like, is it really $35 million a year? Was it that simple? I don't see him just passing up that though, Maceo. So I really don't. I don't know. I don't even know what to think at this point.
Right. It's confusing, Q. Cause to me, it just seemed that Wentz got done, Goff got done, Dak should have been done, and just knock them all out. All of them would have been between the $35 million range.
You traded one in Goff, which is in his draft class. You bench Wentz, you fired the coach. You still won't pay Dak. Like, I really want to know what that contract is, man. So it can't be for that $35 million.
It can't be because
it just can't.
It's hard to believe that he would not sign.
I'm tired of arguing with some of y'all. On my nerve. But anyway, but what people don't understand though is the teams, they don't put out all their business like that.
Oh no,
at all.
Oh no, and when they do want to tell you something, they go find that guy they got, and they like, hey, here go this story. Float this, because they just want to see what everybody say. Now, it happened every day. Hey,
yep. And
dog.
Chris Morton said, "Oh, I ain't supposed to say that. He's one of their guys."
Listen, Jerry. People who don't know this, Jerry and Steven, they do a weekly show on 105 in Dallas.
The Fan.
Yeah, all of those guys, they try to act like they be mad at Jerry and all stuff. Y'all all on Jerry payroll, man. Like y'all started fly y'all to California for training camp. Man, y'all stop it.
All of them. We won't go into it.
We don't. We started. We don't.
Get ready to go back to it. I don't need to go back to 2004. I'm good. Let's go. Let's move.
We're gonna close with this one. Q. In Atlanta, you know, even though you're not a Falcon fan, but you see this all the time too. The Matt Ryan talk. I saw today. Like I said, I laugh when I see this stuff. Now all of a sudden, he's a good fit for the Colts. He's a good fit for this. I'm like, okay. In the barbershop and on Madden, maybe, but his contract is not going to allow him to hit these streets.
Exactly. Yeah, I think them Falcons are stuck with Matt Ryan, but it's, to me, man. It's a good stuck. And now I've seen, the biggest tale for me is I'll never forget, it was 2011, and the Falcons was going in the scores against Kaepernick, and I think they were up by 10, and he dropped the shotgun snap, and I never forget that moment. And and that's what, 7 years before the Super Bowl.
Right.
So I always seen those moments in Matt Ryan, but then I always see what damage he does during the regular season. And that's through a losing season too. Matt Ryan will go 4-12 and his completion percentage would be 71. He threw for 4,500 yards. He only threw 10 picks and about 35 touchdowns. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen, but it's just getting over the hump. Any other city would die for that. The problem Matt Ryan has, and people don't, talk about a whole lot.
Here he comes.
He followed that guy. And you in the blackest city in America. And he followed that guy. He follows Sam. And when you follow that guy, man, listen, Vic I can't even say the word. He captured that city, man, and grabbed it by the horns. And so no matter what, man, those Mike Vick ghosts are around that Georgia Dome.
Hey, it's crazy. Shout out to my girl Lisa. Lisa says a civil war in the Falcon groups on Facebook, say between the Ryan Knights and Ryan haters. And listen,
the Ryan Knights.
I say this all the time. Southwest Atlanta, DeKalb County, the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
They remember how the Georgia Dome was when 7 was hit, and it was the place to be.
Do you remember? You remember my rookie year? It was the game right before I was able to come back, and I was on the sidelines for that game when we played the Falcons, man. And he started that game, right? That was his first.
That was his first. Yep.
That was his first start. And man, when he came onto that field, man, I ain't never heard that like that. Oh man, I never have, dude. Listen, man. So I understand what you're going through, man. And you can be that company man all you want. But like you just said, the South Side of Atlanta, you ain't getting away with nothing.
Hey man,
but let's be honest with you. Let's be honest though, Maceo. He got Hall of Fame stats.
Dude, the guy should be a Super Bowl champion. Like, dog,
I know.
They should have won that Super Bowl. Like, if they win that Super Bowl, we're not even having this discussion
at all.
We're not even having it.
Yes, he gets a pass forever. Forever. but that game is hunting him, and then also that Michael Vick, that stamp that Michael Vick put on the city, man, will never be forgotten.
A lot of people don't know. Quick fact before we get out here, everybody, y'all don't know. Y'all do know. If you don't, you just Google it. Quincy and Mike Vick, same quarterback class, baby.
Yep.
Same quarterback class, man.
Like Jesus say, the first and the third. He was the first pick. I was the third.
And everybody, that's why I rock with my brother right there, man. This guy right here, man. Listen, one day we might release some of our early morning conversations. We might
need to.
Yeah, we might do a whole segment just on our 6 a.m. conversation. A lot of it had to do with Mariah Carey, y'all. Y'all know that.
You will always be. Don't give me. Don't give me. Boy, you a fool.
Hey man, We Belong Together is her greatest song.
No, it's not.
Yes, man. Big facts, man. Big facts.
Yeah, but listen, people be thinking I be talking about a girl with that you always be my baby. But let me tell you,
you're right.
I ever told it. Me and my mom riding in the car when I was going to play baseball. The first time I remember hearing it, and it just stuck with me from there. But now it's a gospel song. I be singing it to God. You'll always be my baby. So it's everything now.
It's everything.
It's everything now.
That's why you my dude, man. Hey, man. We're going to do this again soon, man. We're going to make this a regular thing real soon. And we ain't going to break some of this other news that we got. We're going to say that. We're going to say that for later.
I got some real good news.
We're gonna say that for later, man. We're gonna bust them upside the head with that right there.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, I love you. You know that, man. Hey,
love you love you too, Maceo. Hey, I'll see you next week.
Hey, man, let's do it, brother.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Everybody. Number 3, I call him 3. I don't call him 17. He should have kept that 3 on, man. He should have kept the 3 on, man. That's neither here nor there. Thad Parker, I'm gonna fight you when I see you out here.
I know, right?
Give up that number, boy.
Shout out to Thad too, man.
Man, give up that number, man. You weren't doing nothing.
Straight up, man. It's all good.
A little bit of shoulder pad, that big old helmet Thad wore, man. Hey, man. My dog, man. Crib High Five.
Love Maceo.
Always, my brother. Everybody. Be gone, man.
Right,
y'all have a good
I'll see you next week. We'll be talking in 5 minutes.
Let's do it. All right, bye. We going.